Hello, this is Michelle Fox from Michelle Fox Beauty and also Boss Babes Online. I have a deep, sexy voice because I'm recovering from a cold, but I wanted to talk about hostess coaching, and I'm going to jump right in because I've spent way too much time looking at my files. I was going through my own files because I've been doing this for a long, long time, over 20 years. And I thought, don't I have some kind of a checklist or something? And boy, do I. I have more than one. So I was looking at that, and here's my takeaway. When someone has a training for you and you know that the training is pre digital, before we did things online, listen for the philosophy, the reason behind it, the theory, because you can still apply it. Once you understand, well, why did we talk to the hostess about that? Then you'll understand how to transfer that to a digital party. So what I'm going to talk about today, it can be used either for a traditional party or for an online party. But if I should forget to give both scenarios, just know that it's the what is the expression I'm searching for? It's the idea behind it, the motive behind it that you need to understand. And once you do, then you'll be able to apply it in any given situation. Okay. I was trained by the best of the best, Rena Tarbett, and she would say that a class worth holding is a class worth coaching. And I can tell you that anytime that I've had an awful class, a terrible class, a party. We used to call parties classes, okay? Anytime that I've had a bad party, bad meaning people were not engaged, they didn't seem to have that much fun. I didn't have a lot of sales. Nobody showed up. The hostess wasn't respectful. Just there's so many little things that can go wrong. Whenever that happened, I could trace it back to the fact that I did not properly coach the hostess. Coaching is simply getting her in a huddle, letting her know what to expect, letting her know what you expect of her, what she can expect of you, and what the game plan is. Okay. It's sort of like when the kids are in the back seat and you're on the way to grandma's house and you're saying, okay, kids, now remember, grandpa can't hear that well, so you're going to need to speak up. And grandma's going to give you a big sloppy kiss. So don't say that that's gross because you're going to hurt her feelings. So just know that that's going to happen and that you're coaching your kids. Okay. So, in the same way, if your hostess doesn't know what your expectations are, if she doesn't know what the protocol is, or what the best way to do things, or what you're expecting, then she's not going to do it. And way too often we assume that they know what to do. Just like she assumes that that there's traffic on M120, or that her house is at the end of a one-way street and Google Maps doesn't have it, or something like that. She assumes that. You assume that she knows that you're going to come an hour early. Don't assume anything, okay? You need to spell it out for her, and you need to pull out of her all the information that you need, okay? So there are so many opportunities for hostess coaching. I have a list, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's going to overwhelm people. But honestly, the more points of contact you have with your hostess prior to the party, the better that party is going to be. And not only that, but the more likely she's going to want to be on your team, because she's going to really see the inside story. She's going to see how things operate, and she's going to understand your heart, your motive, and see like what you do on a daily basis. So this is how, in an ideal world, I would coach a hostess for an in-person party. Okay. There would be our initial contact would be, let's say, was at a party. Let's say I booked from a booking. So she's already experienced the skincare. We're sitting down writing up her sales ticket, and she's decided that she's going to book a party. So that's going to be her next experience. So that's my initial hostess coaching right there on the spot. I can get a tentative date for the party. I can give her the hostess packet if I have something in my hand that explains our hostess credit program. So that's an initial hostess coaching. I'm going to have an opportunity where I'm going to contact her and ask for names and numbers. Then I'm going to have a second contact with her. I usually send a thank you note. And then there's kitchen coaching, and that's when you're actually in her home. So that's 5 times. When I'm online, similarly, I do a lot of back and forth with Facebook Messenger, and I will still either text or call. And I'm learning the hard way that even though the younger generation is not super comfortable talking on the phone, it it is super super helpful to actually talk to someone, because things are missed. There are things that you just can't convey in a text that you can get across when you're talking together. And as much as I'm all about texting because it's very non-threatening and you can do it at any time and she can read it at any time, I love that. But there's something to be said for her hearing your voice, hearing your heart, you hearing her. For and as you're talking, I think your brain is thinking through, have I talked about this? Have I talked about this? And then you're like, oh, and by the way, those are the moments where you're going to make sure that you've covered all your bases. And it's just important, just like the thank you note is important. Yeah, to tell her thank you is nice, to text her thank you is nice, but to send a handwritten note doesn't have to be elaborate, but just something, that is meaningful, where you're like, I know you're so busy, and be specific. I know this is a really busy season for you because so and so is in soccer, and I am so grateful that you did this for me, whatever. So, okay. So the first time that you make a connection with them, usually they are either excited about the free stuff they're going to get, like they either heard the hostess program and they're like, oh yeah, I want that, I want a piece of that, or they just love to have parties. They're the kind, and I've had that happen too, where they're just like, they don't care what the hostess program is, they just are like, oh, this was fun, this was cool, I want to do this. Those are the best parties, hands down. So there's some kind of enthusiasm, though. There's something that made them want to book. So you want to, really foster that, and let them know that you're excited and that this is going to happen, and all good stuff. If you can have a hostess packet, that's great. Back in the day, it was imperative. Nowadays, people are so funny about excess paper that I will let you be the judge. Honestly, if you have like a really, really simple hostess program that you can just communicate and explain it, and you talk about it over and over, and maybe it's posted on your website somewhere or your Facebook page or something, you might not even need to have an actual physical folder. Some people expect it, some people don't want it. It kind of depends on the age of the person that you booked as well. But in a hostess packet, typically you would have a sheet that had really spelled out what they needed to do to earn the hostess credit. You'd have a couple of catalogs, lookbooks, a few sales tickets in case they want to collect outside orders. And we usually had some kind of very soft marketing, something that just kind of showed the glamorous side of what we do. There's a skinny brochure, Steps to Success, I think it's called. And it just showed like the different, like red jacket and the director's suit and the national sales director's suit. It showed the different cars at different levels, the rings that you can get for Queen's Court of Sales, the diamond bumblebees for Queen's Court of Recruiting. It was just kind of showing the big picture of what can happen in our world. So, that's all in there. And it's just kind of a fun kit, as a fun little thing for them to be looking through. But like I said, as time goes on, I think people are less into that kind of thing. So, and please, 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 if you don't have that, or you don't have time to put it together, don't use that as an excuse not to book somebody, okay? This is the thing that makes me nervous when I say, "Oh, I do it like this," is that then that you will be like, "Well, then I can't book this person." because I don't have that. Don't do that to yourself, okay? When people give you ideas and suggestions, it's to help just kind of enrich and fill out your current experience. It doesn't mean in any way that you can't continue doing what you're doing right now. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop in your tracks. It's so much harder to get going again. You want to just keep moving on, keeping on, okay? Keep on keeping on, whatever the saying is. So the first time that we're together, let's just picture in our minds, we've met at the party, we're filling out her sales ticket. She says she wants to book a party. Okay. What you want to get is the date for the party. It's a tentative booking approach. I know she's not going to want to give a date. And I know that you are probably not even sure when you're available, but it's super important that something gets on a calendar because it communicates to both of you this is happening. And call it tentative and let her know it's tentative. But you're expecting to write something down right now. And you don't want to say that you're wide open. You want to give her a couple of options, help her out. And you don't want to book it way out, like a month out or 2 months out. I know there are other companies that they have they'll do like one giant party a month or two giant parties, like with 30 or 40 people or something. We're not like that. We have more intimate settings, and we need to hold them close together while we're still feeling that warm and fuzzy toward each other, and while we're still enthused about the product, and we still remember what it felt like and what it smelled like and what the tactile experience was. So I promise you that if you book her 6 weeks out, it will not hold. It will not hold. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to say, so I'm so excited that you want to get together with your friends. Now, here's how I normally do it. Normally, we pick a date within 10 days to 2 weeks. And I know that you probably don't know exactly when you're ready. I totally get that, or when you're available. So we're going to just book a tentative date. So what I've got going on is I usually do parties Tuesday evenings and Saturday afternoons. And I'm looking at my calendar, and it looks like I have Saturday the blank or Tuesday the blank open in the next 2 weeks. Which of those two would be better for you? Okay. You're making it very easy for her to then be like, okay, well, I better get out my phone. Then she has to look, and she'll be like, well, there's nothing I might, I don't have anything on here on that day. So I guess I'll pick that day. Okay. I'm going to put you down tentatively. I'm going to get in touch with you, make sure this is going to work out, and then meanwhile, you can be brainstorming all the friends that you want to invite. And I'm just so I can't wait to meet your friends. And, blah, blah, blah. So that is like, so that it's happening. It's so easy to just say, oh, let's get together sometime. Oh, let's get together for coffee. Oh, we should do this every week. We should do this every month. And it never happens, right? Because it's just talk. You've got to do something so it's not just talk. So that initial coaching, you want to give her a packet, or at least explain the hostess credit, get her excited, fan that flame, okay? And get a tentative date on the books. And if there's time, kind of depends. Like if you've got 10 people at a party and you want to really get them through, then you might not want to take the time now. You can do it later. But at some point, you need to let her know that the guests that she invites, they need to be over 18. I might even say over 21. They need to be over 21. And that even though we love all the people here, that it really helps you build your business if it's new people. That it would be awesome if they are people that are not already affiliated with the consultant, and these people are now affiliated with me. So we want to get like a new group of people so that I can expand my business. People don't get that. That's the thing, that we assume they get that, and they don't. They'll invite the same dang people. And so if these people just ordered $50 of stuff this week, and in 10 days they're coming to her party, they're only going to order, like $20 at her party, because you know what I mean? It's like, facts are facts. You've only got so much money. So you want to, and it's true that you want to expand your business. So let her know that, because she's not thinking like a business person. She's thinking like a friend. She's thinking like, well, she invited me to her house, so I'm going to invite her to my house. But it's different. Okay. It's different. So you have to spell that out for her. Okay. You might also, because a lot of people will drag their feet about getting that guest list to you, you might want to offer some kind of bonus if she contacts you. So, I always give my hostesses a surprise gift if they call me with their guest list within 24 hours starting now, because it's just one less thing for me to do. So that's just, just saying, just putting that out there. And then that motivates her to get it together and really start thinking about who should I invite, get their numbers, and contact you. So that's like your initial time together. So if this is all happening on the internet, then these are this is probably, let's see. So probably you posted something about hostess credit on your group page or your business page, or you mentioned it during a live video and somebody says, "Hey, yeah, I want to do that." You want to have this conversation in a private message, not in front of everybody on the main page. And same thing, you want to explain the hostess program. You want to tell her about the expectations that they need to be adults. They need to be somebody that's not already in your group, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing. Okay. So then you let, a day go by. Um, I really don't let more than a day, probably, and I'll call her. So then that's your phone coaching. So if it was in person, we would be talking on the phone. And then I would ask for the names and numbers of the guests. She may or may not have it yet, but at least, it's a reminder for her to get that together. If she surprises you and she has it, that's all the better. Um, at this point, you can remind her, like she might say something like, well, I started out with a list of 10, and my best friend and my mom and my sister, they can't come. And it's like sort of like puts a damper on things. You take charge of that, okay? And you say, "You know what? That's okay, because I was just going to explain to you that anybody that can't come, that you can get outside orders from them." So for example, you can just say to them, "Is there anything that you need? Mary Kay has skincare, cosmetics, perfume, body care, hand cream, anything." And I'll just jot it down and I'll give it to Michelle at the party. And, I'll give you you may have noticed in your hostess packet that there were some extra catalogs and sales tickets. Just write it up, just real simple, and I'll figure out, whatever. If you like her to collect the money, have that conversation. If you're going to collect the money later, whatever, you know. I'm just saying that anytime that they're going down a path where it's starting to feel negative, you find a way to turn it around. "Oh, I thought I was gonna have this many people, but, they can't come." "Oh, well, we can see if they want outside, if they wanna place an outside order." "Oh, that Tuesday's just not gonna work out for me after all." "Oh, really? Well, that funny you should say that, because, actually, the following Saturday would work out really well for me too." Okay? You don't let that drop. You do not let that drop, okay? It's unprofessional. So, you find another date, alright? Um, okay. So we're getting names and numbers of guests. We're talking about outside orders. And then now we're starting to kind of fill in the blanks, like having her think about what the day is going to actually be like. So you want to say things like, um, and as you're talking to your guests, like as you're inviting people, could you let them know if they come early, they'll get a hand treatment? I have a satin hands treatment that actually you'll be helping me with. So if the party's at 7, if they could get here by 6:45, then we'll be doing the hand treatments in the kitchen, and it will just help things, really stay on track, because I'm starting at 7 on the dot, no matter what, because I respect your time and I want to be out of there, out of your family's hair, so that you can get your kids ready for bed, whatever. So you're painting a picture. You're helping her understand, that you know what you're doing, that you have expectations, which that's fine. Okay. That you're a professional, and let her know what to expect, because when you can tell when hostesses are kind of like a deer in the headlights, like, I don't know what's going on, I don't even know what's happening, and you don't, and that's unsettling. It's unsettling for the guests even. You want, it's so much better when people come in and the hostess knows what she's doing, you know what you're doing, the guests know what they're supposed to do because they were coached to get there early so they could get the hand treatment. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. So we have our initial contact with them. We have a phone coaching opportunity. Then I send a handwritten thank you note. And I do that even with a digital party. I just send them something in the mail, in the actual US mail. Okay. So sometimes the party is booked so close together that there's not enough time for a second phone coaching. So this is kind of optional. You might put these two together, but I have as a second phone coaching opportunity, no, as a second hostess coaching opportunity, that we would then again review who's coming, because by then she's given me a list. Then I've contacted them because I want to pre-profile them. So, like, let's say I'm talking to her and I'll say, "So I suppose you realize that Susie can't come after all because her mother-in-law is sick." "Oh, I didn't know that." "Oh, yeah, she told me that." So that's fine because she told me she needs a satin hand. So I'm going to have that set aside for her. But I know Marsha's coming, and blah 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 blah. And it's nice because you're talking about her friends and her family, and it really warms everything up because you're starting to feel like family and friends to her because you know these people too. And she knows you really actually called those people. You asked for those names and numbers and you actually did something with them. You didn't just make her do that for nothing. So you're reviewing who's coming. Ask if she has any outside orders that you need to know about. If you have inventory, you want to bring, you want to fill those orders if you possibly can. And then you want to take a minute to pre profile her if you haven't already. I used to pre profile uh, at length, like really in depth. Skin type, foundation shade, undertone, eye color, hair color. Do you wear eyeliner, lip liner? Do you prefer lip gloss? All that stuff. All I really do anymore is, are you normal to dry or combination to oily? And I ask if they do their brows. And I give them a heads up that we don't really have brow um, demos. So if they don't want to leave without their brows, to bring their own. That's it. I keep it really simple. And then I kind of tell them about, get there a little bit early. So hopefully the hostess is telling them to get there early and I'm reminding them to get there early. Hopefully they'll remember to get there early. But so at this point, I'm asking the hostess, so remind me, are you combination to dry, normal to oily? Oh, that's right. That's right. I've got your profile. You're normal to dry. And, so I'm going to have that all set up for you. And you tried CC cream at the other party. So I actually want to have foundation for you to try. So there's a quiz on my website for you to take. You could tell her about that so that you can actually have a foundation packet for her to try, whatever. Do something extra special for her. So ask if she has any questions. And now this is where you need to start pulling out of her things like, okay, so I'm going to need probably 45 minutes ish to set up. And if they're coming at 1:45, that means I'd like to get there at 6. Is that okay with you? Does that work for your family? It does. Great. Perfect. And this is the layout that works best. But you tell me, what you've got. But normally we're going to want a table totally cleared off for us to do what we call our facials. Well, you know that because we did it at so and so's party. And then I have like a separate area where I write up the sales tickets. Remember how we were sitting in the living room when we booked your party? Same thing. So if you could kind of have an idea of where I can set up those two areas when I get there, that would be great. And I do want to show you how to do the satin hands so that you can actually apply that to your friends as they arrive. Does that all sound good to you? She'll be okay. And then the only other things really would be that It does not matter at all to me if you offer refreshments or not. And if you do, my best suggestion, honestly, is to keep it really, really simple. Box of cookies and even like ice water or lemonade or something, because 9 times out of 10, women are like, "Oh, no, none for me." And offer it at the end instead of at the beginning because I really wanna keep us on track. So I wanna keep everything moving, and then I'm thinking, you're talking, okay. I'm thinking that at the end, when people are looking through the catalog and deciding what they want, they can be munching on whatever, you decide to have. And if it's not anything, that's fine. Okay. Take the burden off so that she doesn't feel like, I've had people, that have made like a meal and had wine and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, they spent like $100 on this thing. I don't expect that. So let her know you don't expect that. If they want to do it, that's fine. But that is not what you expect from them. So okay, gosh, my voice just keeps getting deeper, deeper. And then another thing that I was gonna get at as far as like pulling information out is to say, now I know that Google Maps will tell me how to get there, but just in case, is there anything weird or anything I need to know about, construction or traffic, or are you like off the beaten path? Like maybe is your address not on Google Maps or anything like that? I have had that happen, and that is super frustrating because usually when that happens, you're out in the boonies, and guess what? Your cell service doesn't work when you're out in the boonies either. So you're just like double screwed. You're like, I don't know where she is. I don't know how to get a hold of her. So get that worked out. Okay. So, do you see how important, how much there is to talk about? And just imagine if you don't talk about any of that stuff, you're just leaving that all up to chance. Then, when you're actually there in the flesh, you're setting everything up. She's asking if she can help. I kind of judge, like, if she's running around, and I can tell her hair's wet, she still needs to get herself ready. I'm like, no, no, you go finish getting ready because I can physically set everything up. But I do show her real quick how to do the satin hands. And I say, so here's what I'm thinking. Your friends will come in. I'll say hi. I'm going to have them fill out their profile and then I'm going to send them to you in the kitchen. You'll do their satin hands and then they'll come out and we'll be just like a machine. And she's like, okay, sure, that's fine. And depending on the vibe, you can tell, like, if this whole time that she's been like, "This is awesome. This has been so much fun. Boy, you're so professional. I can't wait for tonight," or "I already know what I'm getting." There are certain clues that you can feel that, like, she's into it, and if you're getting that, you can say, "Now listen, and here's the thing." When you feel nervous about talking to people about the opportunity, it's probably because you're trying to do it, you're putting a square peg in a round hole. Like, you're trying to do it in a situation where it's not natural. And I agree, that is weird when it's not natural. So what I'm saying is either make it natural, or when it feels natural, don't miss that opportunity. So you're feeling like she loves everything about me, everything about the products, everything about this setup. It should be easy for you to say at that point, I've really enjoyed working with you, and you have so much enthusiasm that it encourages me. So I would just watch what I do tonight and ask yourself if you would have fun. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Ask yourself if you would have fun making money doing what I'm doing. Watch what I'm doing tonight and ask yourself if you would have fun making money doing what I'm doing. Because with that kind of enthusiasm, the answer is probably going to be yes in her head. Whether she says that to you or not, she will be thinking, yeah, I actually would. Like, if I did that and could make money, that would be kind of cool. Okay? And you're planting that seed. Whether you sign the deed that day or not, you're at least planting the seed that you see what's happening here? Like, I'm interacting with your friends and I'm making money, and that's recruiting should feel natural. And I know, when you're first starting out, it doesn't because you're learning the words and that kind of stuff. But when you find someone, like I said, who's enjoying the product and who's respecting you and who's respecting the process and who's making the process easier, it's like a beautiful situation. It should be natural. It should be like the most natural thing to happen. Like, almost feels like it would be wrong not to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I would talk to her like that. And then I also put this bug in her ear. I say, at the end of the party, I might need your help encouraging your friends to be on their way because a lot of times they like to hang out thinking that I'll leave before they do. But in reality, we need them all gone before you and I can sit down and talk about your hostess credit. So if you could kind of help me with that, tag team with me to kind of let everybody know, that we're closing shop and it's time to go, that would be awesome. Oh, okay, okay, wink, like she gets it. So anyway, I have created a nice coaching sheet with all of this information. I will find a way to make that available to you. It's not available yet. I'm working on that because I know that's a lot to take in. And as far as like, how does this apply, digitally? Because we're not talking about, snacks and that kind of thing. Like I said, it's the theory, the philosophy, the reasoning behind it. So you want to be in communication with her so that she sees what you do, so that she understands what your objective is, so that she is on your side, so that she's bringing quality people into the group. Oh, I've got a good story. And all of these things are going to help your party be a great party. Okay, I've said a couple of times like not to assume things. Once upon a time, I had a customer. Her mom was my customer, her grandma was my customer, and she was so enthusiastic. She bought quite a few things, and then she would ask for samples of things, and whatever she sampled, she would buy. And she joined, my group and followed my business page, and she would like send me messages frequently about, asking questions and showing me selfies and stuff. She was all about it. Okay. And then she said, "So do you do parties?" And I said, "I sure do." And because she seemed so into it, and because she asked if I did parties, I assumed that she just understood really key things about parties. I assumed that she knew, like a reasonable number of people to invite, or that, that I don't want the same people that are already my customers, that kind of thing. I didn't really coach her a whole lot, and this is what happened. Actually, I did give her a little bit of coaching. Like I did tell her, "This is how I want you to say things," and I don't think that's what happened. But anyway, she invited like 150 people to our party online. Okay. You don't want your hostess to mass invite people to their online party. Why? 150 people is a lot of people to keep track of, especially if you say at any point that they can have samples prior to the party, or catalogs or anything like that, because everybody wants free stuff. So they'll all say, "I want one." That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So um, you got to keep that under control. Also, when you're part of a mass invitation, like when you can see on a party like how many people have been invited and how many have responded and all that stuff. When you see like there've been 300 people invited or something, don't you feel kind of like it doesn't really matter if you come or not? Mary Kay is different. Mary Kay is like we hand chose who we want to come to the party, and it's the same way online. And I thought I had explained that to her. So, but apparently I didn't do it well enough. So you need to get across that, you want to choose people that are going to be interested in this type of stuff and that can afford it and that would probably come. So don't invite all of your friends. So anyway, I digress. So there were like 100 and some people invited, which blew my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We had probably 35, and I had previously said that they could request like a beauty bundle in the mail if they requested it like at least 7 days early, something like that. I had 35 people ask for a beauty bundle. I estimated how much that cost me to put all the samples and the bubble envelope and the stamps or, the postage. It was a lot of money. It was like 4 or $5 per times 35. Okay? That a lot of money. Okay? So that's just the beginning. And a lot of work. A lot of work. So then I had to contact them and get, pre-profile them, make sure I was giving them the right formula. I didn't have enough stuff, so I had to place an order. So then I had to pay shipping from Mary Kay. So that was a whole, fiasco. So I get all that out and I'm thinking, well, at least I know I'm going to have like an enormous party. I mean, these sales are going to be like off the charts. Okay. So then I thought, since there's so many people, I'm going to do a giveaway every day. I don't know how I come up with these things. And normally, if you do giveaways on an online party, they should be things that can ship flat and cheap, like a headband that you can get at the dollar store, something like that. But no, I gave like product stuff. So I had to pay more shipping and it was worth more. Long story short, I got one order. One, one, one. I was horrified. I was absolutely horrified. And I was just like, I think I just made every mistake you can possibly make, like I spent a ton of money giving out free samples with no guarantee of a return. I obviously did not express to her the type of people that we wanted in this party. I didn't think through the bottom line when I was deciding, what I was giving as the daily prizes. I assumed, I hate that word now. I assumed that I was going to have an enormous amount of sales that would justify prizes every day. Don't assume, don't assume ever anything. So that was awful. That was really, really awful. And the way I redeemed it was follow up, follow up, follow up. I kept, contacting them just real brief. I contacted them later to try to get enough orders to at least cover the cost of all those samples. So I think I broke even eventually. But so my point is that it is imperative that you are crystal clear with your hostess what your expectations are, what an ideal party is, who are the people that you want there, why do you want those people, how do you want her to talk to them, how do you want her to invite them. And online is different than in person. So when I talk to my online girls, I say, I'm going to give you a script and you can copy and paste and send it in Messenger, but you have to change a couple words here and there, or Facebook will think you're spamming and they'll put you in Facebook jail. But for the most part, you can use, my words if you want to. If you don't like it exactly, you can change it up a bit. But you want to get them, just kind of pique their interest. So like the first thing might be like, hey, Dawn, hey Dawn. Okay, hey Dawn. um, I'm having an online beauty party, and because you are always on trend, your name popped into my head. If you want more info, let me know. Like very bare bones information. Don't tell them everything. And so I'm also kind of teaching her a little bit about attraction marketing in the process. All right, well, I have to delete all that. Another part of hostess coaching is teaching her how to invite the guests. So, for example, you don't want her to say, "Hey, I just need warm bodies in the chairs. It doesn't matter if you buy anything or not. I just want you to come so that my house isn't empty and I'm embarrassed." You might not want to say that to her exactly, but you want to give her the alternative. Say, we want people that either, love to take care of their skin, really enjoy makeup, that that they use like a nice quality brand, or that you've gone to something like this with them before. Is anybody coming to mind? Because here's the thing, we don't just want warm bodies in chairs. We want people that are going to appreciate the product and that can afford to purchase it. That might sound harsh, but that's the bottom line. And I've done way too many parties where, they just loved it, loved it, loved it. They were engaged, they were laughing, they loved everything and didn't buy anything. Why? They didn't plan on buying anything. They knew from the get go that they couldn't afford it. Nothing against me, but that was a waste of my time. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not a charity. I've done charity work. I've gone to, elderly facilities. I've done things with Girl Scouts. I've done things with my kids and their girls, for sleepovers and stuff. But when I'm going to work, I don't want to walk away with $0, and neither should you. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So, and in the same way, when I have somebody inviting people for a digital party, I say, now here's the thing. If you just invite all the women that are your friends, it's just going to be white noise to them. Okay. Because that's too easy. And they'll feel like it doesn't really matter if they come or not. I would rather you like pinpoint 20 people that you really think would love this than invite 200 people at random. And if we could just get those 20 people and then you could personally either text or send them a message in Messenger, something like really specific and not too much information because they may or may not want to come. And we just kind of want to pique their curiosity. So just say something like, hey, I'm doing a charcoal mask party. It's going to be a hoot. I thought of you. Are you in? Question mark. And just see, if they say yes, then say, oh my gosh, great. You got to join this group and all the rest of the info will be there. Just follow the steps and then give her this link. So you're telling her what to say to her people, as opposed to you just, mass invite like all the women and then they all are just kind of like, been there, done that. People don't respond well to that. Usually you just have stalkers. You'll have a whole lot of people that will, if you're doing your party like in a group instead of an event, for example, which is how I suggest you do it, they will be watching and they might occasionally comment if there's a prize involved, but they don't officially join the group and they don't ever make a purchase. So all that is nonsense, okay? We need to take this seriously. The more seriously you take it, the more seriously she'll take it. And the more specifically you say, these are the people we want, okay? And we want to handpick them and we want them to know that we handpicked them. Then that's going to help her know what to say. And I even say, don't even tell them that it's Mary Kay necessarily, because people, some people just are funny about, home parties or certain brands. Just say it's a charcoal mask party, or just say it's a lipstick party, or it's a, whatever, microdermabrasion party, because let the product speak for itself. Okay. And whatever. So much to think about. That might have been like 2 or 3, lessons in one, but, the big takeaway I want you to have is that it's really, really important that you communicate frequently and that you communicate effectively and fully with your hostess, whether it be because you're meeting face to face for an in-person party or whether it's for an online party. I think I will have to have like a separate, um, you know, I'm starting to see that I should probably have a second class on specifically digital parties because there are some differences, but hopefully you're grasping, you're getting the gist of this, that it is very important that you communicate with your hostess frequently, specifically from your heart, that you let her know exactly what is an ideal customer, an ideal person joining, what you expect from her, what she's going to get out of it, all of it. And the more you do that, the more likely she will become a team member, the better sales you're going to have, the more likely you're going to keep those people as VIPs. So it pays off. The work you put in on the front end will pay off always. Always. All right. So thanks for your time. And I can't wait for the next lesson. I'm enjoying talking about parties. I'll tell you, I've been doing so much with my online teaching and courses that I haven't talked about parties in a minute. So it's kind of fun to do this. So I hope you got something out of it. Tell me in the comments. If you have questions, let me know those as well. I'll answer them. Thanks so much. Make sure that you like this video, hit the bell so that you are notified the next time I drop a video. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to this channel. And I have a second channel, like a sister channel called Boss Babes Online. So you might want to subscribe to that one as well. It's not Mary Kay specific, but it talks about having your business expand online. So I think that you'd be interested in that one as well.